Well, I'm on the farm today, and I'm here with my International 886 in our barn, and I wanted to do a little follow-up video. I mentioned it in one of the others here for this tractor, that when we unloaded this tractor, we had to do it on the main road up here, and I'll show you that here in just a little bit. And it did not go smoothly until the end, and it was touch and go, and I'll get into that when I move on up to the road, and just show you what we encountered and how I prepared for the arrival of this tractor. So before I get up to the road, the tractor I used to clear the snow, and you'll see what I did up there. There's not much snow left, but there's some sod that I kind of pulled up. Put the generator on the coolant heater. That tractor fired up. I did the moving the snow the day before the tractor came. I want to say it was somewhere between 20 and 25 degrees, and let that tractor warm up at least an hour, maybe an hour and a half. And boy, it fired right off. If you recall, I got a video that I put up where I replaced this coolant heater, and bad tires and all. This little Land Pride blade is pretty cheap and lightweight. It's 7 feet wide, but it was the cat's meow for moving the snow. Easy to adjust, and it's not heavy, so even though it dug in some, it wasn't bad at all. All right, I'm up here in the road, and there's traffic, and the wind is blowing, as you can see the flag up there, so I apologize for the wind, but the day before, a couple days before this tractor arrived, we were looking at the weather, and this tractor came in from Wisconsin, and it had been cold up there, down into the single digits, and we saw a window where it was going to be about 32, 35 degrees, and so the guy that was hauling it, he had some other equipment to pick up and was going to be close enough to the neighborhood, and so we made the decision to go ahead and try to get that tractor out of there, because the next few days following, the temperatures were going to be below zero, and the concern was, will the tractor start? And then down here it was going to be really cold too. And so we had snow, and because the temperatures were cold here, they were down into the 20s and teens. The snow, we had snow, and it wasn't going anywhere. So I had to get that Massey 50 up here, and I scraped out the drive as best I could. Just to get off the road, and then we had talked. The trucker had been here before hauling my Massey 1105 before, and a few other things, but the thought was, what we'll do is we'll punch a hole through this fence, and he can pull up and back in. We had talked about that several years ago, and so I took that blade, and I scraped a path down through here. You can kind of see right here. Big enough for his whole truck to get down in here, and the idea was, if that tractor didn't start, we could back down in here and get off the road. So as good a job as that blade did, there was still some snow that was compacted, like patches, ice, snow that had really formed into ice. So the driver was concerned that he might be able to get down in here, but he might not be able to get out with that trailer on the back. And there was another utility tractor on it and some kind of a tillage tool. And so what that meant was we had to unload up here in the road. And he was coming from that direction. So that put the truck sitting in the road, and there's no place to get off the side of the road here. That put the truck sitting right in here. Well, we've done this before. It's no problem. It's just makes you a little nervous because trucks come that way and cars and this way, and sometimes they don't want to slow down. But we put out flares, and so one of my boys happened to be in the neighborhood, and we put out flares way on around the turn there and over that hump, so people could see that something was going on. And then we got his ramps down, and the tractor wouldn't start. And he opened the door and he told me, he said, the dealer loaded this tractor, and he said they left the key on and the batteries are dead as a hammer. So I had prepared for the possibility that, as cold as it was 28 degrees, around 28 degrees when we unloaded. And of course this thing had come from Wisconsin through sub-freezing temperatures all the way down here, so it was cold soaked, as you can imagine. And so I had a couple of what I thought were good jump packs, fully charged. And I'd even thought about buying 2 batteries. It takes 2 batteries, one on each side, and it's a 12-volt system. The way they're hooked up, it's a 12-volt system. But I thought, well, surely these jump packs will be good, and we'll have no trouble. Well, I mentioned earlier in my video the right and left-hand side of the tractor. So the front of the tractor was facing this way, and so on the left-hand side, we hooked a jump pack to it, and that engine would barely move. And I'm like, holy smoke! So we put a jump pack on the other side. We figured if they're in parallel, it's like having, 2 batteries hooked up to this thing, and it wouldn't go. It just wouldn't turn. Well, what to do? And we're letting traffic by. We're trying not to, block anything. And so what I had to do is I had to get that Honda CRV, which is my farm truck, and the battery. I had to point the nose of it this way because the battery's on this side. And I backed up in here, and we had some jumper cables that were pretty long. And at this point, we've got the road blocked. And one thing I want to mention is way back on that mountain, way in behind the farm, there's somebody doing some, they're cutting timber. And there's about 4 tractor trailers that come through here at least once a day. And there's a deer. At least once a day. And before the guy came, right before he came, those 4 trucks went down the road, and then a service truck went down after him. And I thought, well, that's good, because I don't want this tractor trailer with this tractor on it sitting up in the road, and these guys come down through here like the throttle is stuck wide open and the brakes don't work. So when I saw that service truck go down after those 4, I believe it was 4 logging trucks, I felt pretty good that we would deal with pickup trucks and cars at this point. So anyway, I backed my car up into here, and at this point we got the road blocked, and we put the jumper cables on, and thankfully there wasn't really any traffic. I couldn't believe it, and kind of like right now. And so tried to crank it, it wouldn't go, and I'm like, oh boy. So what to do? You know, we're going to have to chain this thing back down and get out of here. Well, the driver noticed that the jump pack on the far side, it either wasn't turned on or it had shut off automatically. And he reached down and turned it on, and the tractor cranked over. And when that happened, my thought was, we got a jump pack here. It is freezing cold. Batteries aren't so good when it's cold like this. When we try to crank this tractor again, it's got to go. And when it cranked that first time, it was strong. So my son came. He was here, and I gave him some ether, and he got up on the trailer, and I said, when he starts cranking, give that thing a shot of ether, and don't let it die. If it starts to stumble, hit it with some more ether. I said, one way or the other, that tractor's got to come off that trailer. And of course, you know, a tractor like that International is not something you can snatch off with a pickup truck or a little massive 50. So the driver cranked the tractor. He gave it a shot of ether, just a little shot, and man, that thing fired off like a brand new engine. And once it started, there wasn't no shutting it off. Now we got some traffic backed up on this side, and there's a car coming this way, and the car acts like they want to just go around us, even though I'm standing in the road right here. And so I finally got him to stop, and he backed the driver backed the tractor off, pulled in the drive. I said, all we got to do is get it off the road in the lane. We'll take it from here. And pulled it in the yard there, and left it running at about a medium idle and medium throttle. And he had a really nice trailer, and his ramps are they're hydraulic. I think they're hydraulic, but he pulled a lever, and both sides of those ramps just went bloop, and he'd already put his chains away, and he was able to get in his truck and leave. But because he had a Case IH utility trailer on it, and he had some kind of piece of tillage tool, I don't recall exactly what that was, and on the very back was my tractor, and so he got this tractor off.